Welcome students, this is Dr. Mercado speaking. This is a continuation lecture of Chapter 6, which deals with analyzing and journalizing payroll. This lecture is for my Accounting 1329 Payroll and Business Tax Accounting course. Now we are going to be continuing covering the content from Chapter 6. It's super important that we read the chapter and that you review the demonstration problems included in your ebook as you're completing your assignment. That way you can have some guidance or idea on how to complete it. Okay. Now in this particular lecture, I am going to be covering problem 6-8A. Okay. Let me jump over to the problem. So it says the employees of Pelter Company earned wages of $12,000 for the 2 weeks ending April the 12th. Federal income taxes of $260 were withheld. The entire amount of wages is subject to FICA taxes, but only $9,800 is taxable under the federal and state unemployment compensation laws. The state contribution rate of the employer is 2.9%. Now, this is very important. It says all employees are subject to state unemployment contributions of 0.5%. Now, in the prior problems we had been covering, only the employer was liable for the state unemployment and for the federal unemployment. In this particular problem, they're introducing that the employees are going to pay a portion of the state unemployment to the contributions as well of 0.5%. So that's an additional deduction that has to be included from the employees' withholdings. Okay. As of April the 12th, taxable wages of $9,800. For FUTA and SUTA, and the employee's contributions are to be deducted by the employer. We are being asked to journalize the payment of the wages and record the payroll taxes, assuming that the contributions of the employer and the employees are recorded in one account, SUTA taxes payable. Okay. So they have a lot of information going on. They're asking us to journalize both the what are they asking us? Journalize the payment of the wages and the payroll taxes. Okay. So let's start off first with the wages. Okay. How much did our employees earn during this pay period? It says here that our employees earned $12,000. Okay. This is wages expense, so it's going to be a debit of $12,000. Okay. Now we start with our deductions. Okay. What are we going to take out of the employees' paychecks? Well, I know that I need to withhold the FICA taxes, and I'm going to put that into my FICA taxes payable because I'm going to pay this at a future point in time to the correct taxing authority here. So FICA taxes payable, OASDI, and let me make this a little bit bigger so I can put the actual calculation here. Okay, so for this, it's going to be your $12,000 of earnings times the rate for OASDI is 6.2%. Okay. So we're going to do that calculation and let's see what we get. Okay. I move the calculator over. So it's $12,000 of earnings and the OASDI rate is 6.2%. That gives me $744. Okay. We're going to have the FICA taxes payable. But now for the HI. Okay. Now for the HI, once again, it's the $12,000 times the 1.45%. And now these rates, you should already know them by now because we've been covering them the majority of the semester. So that is information that you should have from prior chapters, okay? So we're going to go ahead and get that calculator. And we're going to get 12,000 times 1.45%. And that gives me $174, okay? So these are the two FICA taxes associated, and they're telling you that everything is taxable for FICA purposes. Okay. Now, what else is going to be deducted? Well, the employees also have to pay federal income tax. So we're going to put that into the employees' federal income tax payable account. Now, this number is given. It's provided to you right here. It says federal income taxes of $260 were withheld. Okay, so that number is given to you. We don't have to do any calculations. Okay. Now, one other thing that we need to include in this particular case, usually those are the three items that we include, but in this particular case, the employees are also responsible. All employees are subject to state unemployment contribution of 0.5%. So we have to include the SUTA tax. That's going to be SUTA taxes payable. And for purposes of SUTA and FUTA, it says that $9,800 are taxable. It says only $9,800 is taxable under the federal and state unemployment compensation laws. So when we're calculating FUTA and SUTA, we're going to use the $9,800 right here. Okay, so it'll be $9,800, and the SUTA rate for the employees is 0.5%. Okay, and let's see what we get. 9,800 times 0.5%. That gives me $49. Okay. So these are all of the deductions that are going to be withheld from the employee's paycheck. So I know my employees earn $12,000. I'm going to take out $744 for OASDI. I'm going to take out $174 for HI. I'm going to take out $260 for federal income tax, and I'm going to take out $49 for SUTA. So that means that I'm going to pay my employees cash of $10,773. Okay, that is the cash that's going to be dispersed to my employees. Okay, and when I'm doing these entries, I just have the habit of making sure that my debits equal my credits, which they do. That way, I know that I'm in balance. Okay, that's just me making sure that I entered all of my numbers correctly. Okay. So this is the entry to record the payment of the wages. Okay. Now we have to record the payroll taxes. Okay. So now we're going to have payroll taxes, and this is an expense account. Now I don't know how much payroll taxes it's going to be, so I'm going to leave that blank. But I do know that the employer also has to pay FICA taxes payable. Okay. The employer has to pay FICA taxes, and we're going to put that into the payable account for OASDI. And it's $12,000 times 6.2%. And that is 12,000 times 6.2%. That is $744. Okay, so that'll be $744. Then we have FICA taxes payable for HI. That's $12,000 times 1.45%. Okay, and then that's going to be 12,000 times 1.45%. That's going to be $174. Okay, and then we have two taxes, unemployment taxes that the employer has to pay, and this is FUTA taxes payable. Okay, now for FUTA and SUTA, it says only $9,800 is taxable under the federal and state unemployment. So that's the amount that I'm going to use for FUTA. And I'm going to multiply it times my FUTA rate. And we learned that the FUTA rate after our credits is 0.6%. So this you need to refer back to the prior chapters that talks about FUTA. Okay. So that is the standard rate, 0.6%. It's, remember, our FUTA rate is 6%, and then we get a 5.4 credit. So then that gives me the 0.6%, okay, which we're using. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the 9,800 times the 0.6%. That gives me $58.80, okay? And then last but not least, we have our SUTA taxes. Okay, and it'll be 9,800 times. Now for your SUTA, they provide you with the rate. It says here that the state contribution rate for the employer is 2.9%. Okay, so that is given to you in the problem. The rate is. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to multiply the 9,800 times the 2.9%. And that gives me 284.20. Okay. So those are the taxes that the employer is responsible to pay. FICA, OASDI, FICA, HI, FUTA, and SUTA. Okay. Now that we have those taxes calculated, I can add those amounts up. 744, 174, 5880, and 284.20. That gives me $1,261. That is the amount of the debit. That's the amount that of the total payroll taxes that need to be paid. Okay. So, fairly straightforward problem. We've had, I've already covered several of these problems where we have to first record the payment of the wages and then the payroll taxes, okay? Just different scenarios are being presented. Like in this case, we had the scenario where the employee also had to pay SUTA taxes, okay? But the concept is the same. By now, we should be familiar with recording payroll and the payment of wages and the payroll taxes, okay? So this is how the problem is solved. Make sure that you do review. They provide examples in the actual problem. It tells you to refer to the specific examples for guidance. So please utilize all of the resources available to try to get the problems correct. If you do encounter any difficulties or have any questions, concerns, or whatever the case might be, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I am available Monday through Friday. And I will try to respond as soon as possible. Just make sure that you include, of course, the problem that you're working on, your attempted solution step by step, and your specific question or questions so I can be able to address them. Okay? So that is basically it for problem 6-8A. Now that's the end of the lecture. Until next time. Thank you.